encouraging all men not to accept leftovers. Now, most of the leftovers are nothing more than cream gobblers. Who wants that on their arm? You know what I'm talking about. Do you really want a chick with that many miles on her? Do you really want a chick that's been with 20 to 30 guys? Don't sign me up. Nope. Not only do you have to worry about STDs, but let's just say, for an argument's sake, that she's clean as a whistle. You still have to consider what in the world can we, that means you and her, discover together that's new. The sad truth, my friends, is NOTHING. Now, let's keep it real, fellas. When you and she are having sex, she's probably comparing your skill set with the other guys she'd been with. That's such a quaint little saying. What you really mean is how many guys she had sex with. How many guys know every inch of her body and what she responds to. That kind of stuff matters to us guys. Now, you can deny it all you want, but deep down you know I'm telling the truth. Body count matters. Now, there used to be a time when a woman who had 10 lovers before age 30 was considered promiscuous. Fellas, that's a lot of cucumbers. Nowadays, men are speaking up. And yes, body counts matter. They are saying 10 cucumber sandwiches is too much. So men have adjusted their standards, and now 5 bodies is too much before age 30. And I'm so proud of all the men who have adjusted their expectations. It's long overdue. But let's not get it twisted. We men love women. We love sex. But that doesn't mean that the chick you're sleeping with is gonna or should be your chick. Have fun. But don't get it twisted. Don't let the small head make you make bad decisions about this woman. I encourage you guys to think critically before you commit to anyone. And I think one of the first things you need to do is conduct what I call a promiscuity checklist test. Now, fellas, please conduct this test before you invest a lot of time and resources. Who knows? She may pass with flying colors. The first thing you have to look at is, does this woman have promiscuity tendencies? I'm going to help you out here. Listen, we're brothers in this thing. And anything I can do to make it less likely that you will end up with a floozy and, God forbid, a bad wife, I'm here for you. I want you to listen and listen closely. You see, part of the screening process requires you to look beyond the pretty face, the long legs, the ample breasts. I know. That's asking a lot of a man with all these hormones in play. But it's better to ask yourself this simple question. Ask yourself, is this broad the type that constantly needs attention? You know, the type that can't sit home and enjoy a quiet evening with you? She's got to be where the action is, where the party is. If that's her, mark her off. Next. I personally don't believe that men and women can be just friends. So beware of women with too many quote-unquote male friends. You and I know that most of those so-called friends are just waiting for a weak moment on her part so they can pounce. I'm not mad. It's our nature. But being forewarned is to be forearmed. No guy wants a chick that constantly wonders whether or not the weak moment will occur. And it will just be disaster if you have an argument and she ends up screwing someone who is comforting her. Yep, those friends. Okay, I have to admit I'm not totally objective on this one. I hate women with tattoos. Why would you want to mark up God's work, a work of art? And just between you and me, be especially leery of women with piercings on their private parts or nipples. To me, it shows that she has a high tolerance for pain and a taste for self-destruction. Now, in olden times, tattoos were a sign that a woman was an easy lay. Tonight, it may be your turn, but tomorrow, probably somebody else's turn. Now, I'm not a prude by any stretch of the imagination. I like to drink, one, two, maybe three, depending on the mood. But for me, a woman that drinks a lot, well, you know what happens. She has a couple, and before you know it, her inhibitions are set free. Next thing you know, she's trying to explain to you why she didn't come home last night. And she doesn't remember how her panties came off in the guy's apartment. Oh, I think we know, don't we? Now, personally, I won't put up with a female who is constantly on her phone. When we are out, what in the world is so important in her life? Now, if she refuses to put it down, get up and leave. Obviously, she craves attention and validation. Let her get it from somebody else. Now, if you notice that she wears a lot of revealing clothing, again, mark her off because she too craves attention. Now, if she curses a lot, enough said about that. And if she hangs around with promiscuous women, what's that old saying about birds of a feather? And finally, fellas, if your gut tells you not to get involved with that woman, follow your gut. But you see, women will make a lot of excuses for themselves being promiscuous, like they were raised in a household where sex was taken lightly and not included in their education. They will also say they were exposed to too much or too little sex during those early years. And if that doesn't work, they'll say they had traumatic experiences early on with men, or they experienced intense loneliness, etc., etc., etc. Here's Gary Max 25 cents. Fellas, you are not a woman's psychiatrist or psychologist. It is not your place to figure out why she has poor impulse control. Bottom line, if she has promiscuity issues, get as far away from her as quickly as possible. You don't need to invest any more of your time and resources. But I'm going to give you a tip. Always be on the lookout for women who possess 5 characteristics. Number 1, femininity. Number 2, fitness. Number 3, friendliness. Number 4, fertility. And number 5, they're fun to be around. Now, if a female doesn't have these traits, leave her alone. Now, in my next video, I'm going to be talking about cucumber discipline. Help me grow this channel, fellas. Please hit the like button and subscribe. It costs nothing. For now, Gabby Mac, out.